First of all, thank you all for being here this afternoon. We are here today to publicly announce the creation of the Office of Continuous Improvement within the immediate office of the Administrator. The office will report directly to me as the Chief of Operations and will be led by Serena McElwain, who is here with us today. The primary focus of the new office has been and will continue to be the development of a new lean management system. Put simply, the EPA Lean Management System is about three things. It's about setting aggressive but achievable targets, measuring our results against those targets, and using lean practices and tools to close the gaps between targets and our results. But to achieve these results, we must be able to see the gaps in both workflow and performance. You see, unlike in manufacturing, where lean comes from, our work is very difficult to see. So the heart of the EPA Lean Management System is making both the flow of our work and the performance of our work much more visible, much easier for all of us to see. We are already making our work more visible by using bowling charts to track national program and regional office performance in key areas on a monthly basis. And as you can see from this chart here, there's an actual example of a bowling chart. We actually have over 400 measures that are being measured on a monthly basis and being reviewed on a monthly basis, both by the national programs and regional offices, but also by me and my office. We're now in the process of creating flow boards for every team to track whether individual activities are on schedule by evaluating whether our progress is meeting interim deadlines. You see the example here again of a flow board that's actually measuring the work and whether the work is ahead of schedule or behind schedule. We'll be working with every working unit within EPA to set up a similar type scenario to track the work that they do to make sure that work is flowing or is progressing as timely as we want it to. And then lastly, we're standing up performance boards for every team to see whether a team that is working together in a process is meeting their goals related to both quality and speed. We'll be using lean principles and lean problem-solving tools like A3 project management, and there's an example on display here today, to improve our work when we find performance or flow not meeting our goals, targets, or deadlines. Under the lean management system and with the help of the Office of Continuous Improvement, we will now be using lean more strategically to improve both our work so we can achieve the ambitious goals set forth by the Administrator. So when I was in the process of transitioning to EPA, I remember having a conversation with the Administrator and him saying, and I'm not going to do an impression, that would be a really bad idea for me. Could be career ending. So I will not be doing an impression, but I do remember very vividly what he said to me. He said that, Henry, I want to be able to say when I leave here that there are fewer non-attainment areas, more water bodies meeting standards, more drinking water systems in compliance, more Superfund sites cleaned up, and I think he said much more than that. But what stuck with me the most was he said, and I want numbers to back up these changes we will be making. To me, as a process guy and to a performance management guy, it was really music to my ears, and I knew that I was in the right place. He continues to closely monitor our progress and supports our efforts. And he's here today to publicly announce a structural change to EPA that will help us achieve his aggressive goals and also make EPA a continuously improving agency for years to come. Please welcome Administrator Pruitt.
Henry, I really appreciate your words, and I remember that conversation. You took good notes. And maybe it's just that having played athletics and sports, I'm competitive, and I just want to keep score. But I want to make sure that we advance, obviously, on a day-to-day basis. So Henry's done a great job. As you know, he came to us from the state of Arizona. He's been a great leader for this agency since he's come on board. As you know, he's been leading this effort for the last several months. But the exciting thing today is I get a chance to announce the creation of this Office of Continuous Improvement, OCI, that's going to be led by Serena McElwain. And Serena, I'm looking forward to your leadership. And obviously, Henry's handing this off to you, but it's going to be an exciting time. And Henry has made a point of emphasis on process. Process does matter. And process is something that impacts the regulated community. It affects states across the country. It affects environmental outcomes. And you see these charts that we've put up here. This is something that Henry shares with me on a week-to-week basis. Actually, he comes in to see me. He shows me the progress that we're making in each of these key areas, keeping track of the progress we're making. Just to give you an idea about some of the things we didn't track before we began this process, we didn't track the amount of time it took to issue permits. One of the first questions that was asked, that I asked of Henry, tell me how long it takes us to get through the permitting process. And we didn't even know. Not only here, but across the country. There was great inconsistency from region to region. We marshaled that data together last year under Henry's leadership. We're tracking those things now, and we have a goal by the end of 2018 to make sure that we make decisions on those permits up or down within 6 months. That is a dramatic improvement from where we've been in the past several years. We didn't measure legal deadlines with respect to imposition on the EPA as far as statutory deadlines. In fact, recently I was in a meeting with the Air Office about the ozone the ozone standard being evaluated. That's going to take place in 2020, but our schedule was not consistent with the 2020 timeframe. That was changed. So Henry has led a process to make sure that all the deadlines that Congress has put on this agency, that we actually track and meet those deadlines. And you know there are several of those across the various statutes of what we minister. We didn't measure from the identification of a violation, we didn't measure the correction and compliance rates with respect to fixing the violation. And we didn't measure the number of drinking water systems out of compliance. Those are just a few examples of things we are now tracking that we weren't tracking before. And I would say to you, you inspect what you expect, and that which is measured improves. And that's really the whole purpose of what we're trying to achieve here, is to make sure that as we do our work here, that we set real goals and we track those goals and show real improvement. Last year, I know you went through a process. Each of the program offices submitted to Henry goals and objectives for each of these respective areas. And you had a dialogue about that, and you made those goals public with respect to your program offices. Here are some goals that Henry has shared with me. With respect to the lean management practices, 80% of the agency work units will be in compliance by the year 2020. All sectors of the EPA will set ambitious and achievable targets for their work, measuring the results and improving their processes to bridge the gap between the targets and results. These are good things for us to focus upon. Here's what we've already accomplished. We've already established over 400 metrics across all EPA programs and regional offices that are tracked monthly. That is outstanding. So I'm very excited to be here with Serena, very excited to be here with Henry, very excited to be here with you, because I know this takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort to collaborate amongst the program offices, but also the regions, to set these very ambitious goals. And I want to commend you for the investment of time that you've already made. I want to commend you for the investment that you've made to set these goals and to work toward achieve them starting in 2018. So Serena, I'm very much looking forward to your leadership and working with you, and very excited to celebrate. And I would say this to you. That's something we need to do more often. Celebrate the progress we've made. Because when we measure results and we look up on these charts and we actually achieve those results, we as an agency should get together and celebrate that. And we shall do that soon. So Serena, thanks so much for your leadership. Henry, I think you're coming back up at this point. But thank you for your leadership, Henry, and putting this together. Thank you.
So now that he's been given an opportunity to speak, I can now tell you some other things that we agreed when I arrived here at EPA. And one of the first things, the first conversations that the administrator and I had when I arrived was that I asked for him to commit to me that I'd be able to build my own team. And from the start, he supported that notion. He would agree that he'd do whatever he could to help me build my team. I've been over the past 9 months since I've been here, I have been building that team. The Office of Continuous Improvement being the place where they will be located. But I needed someone to lead that team. And so what I had realized in coming to EPA, and I knew this before I came to EPA, I knew that EPA had done a lot of lean work. They had done a lot of taken a lot of lean projects, done a lot of lean effort. And so when I arrived, I started asking around and started doing some research internally about those who were taking a leadership role, those who were leading EPA towards a lean transformation. And Serena's name kept on coming up. Even though Serena comes from Region 9, I kept on reading about how people were sending staff from all over the country, from headquarters, from the regions. They were sending them out to Region 9 for Serena to help them learn lean principles and lean tools. And so I had a conversation with Serena, and we hit it off. And she seemed to have a true passion for lean, just as I do. And so we started having a conversation about the fact that she was living in San Francisco, yet all of this work needed to be done in headquarters. But because of her passion for lean, because of her interest in helping EPA transform into a true lean agency to help us implement an environmental management system based upon lean principles, that she graciously agreed to be the head of the Office of Continuous Improvement, agreed to move to Washington, D.C., and to help lead us through these efforts. So, Serena, thank you. And I know that she has a few words to say as well about the standing up of this new office.
So you have the lean lady. That's my name. I didn't realize that until I came to headquarters. I realized I was the lean lady, but I'm honored to have that new name for myself. So thank you for the opportunity just to say a few words. I am truly honored and humbled to be appointed as the first director of the Office of Continuous Improvement. I know that my job will be exciting and rewarding, and as Henry would say, a little challenging and frustrated, but at the end, it's so much fun as you go through it, and thank you for that, because I'm finding that to be true. Henry stole all of my words today, so I am skipping from the top of my statement to the bottom. I will just say this. In order for our new office, the Office of Continuous Improvement, to be successful, I will rely on all of you. It takes a village. It takes all of us to do the good work that we need to do in the Office of Continuous Improvement. The new office will create a culture of performance improvement, accountability, and employee engagement. And we plan to engage the employees at every single level in this agency. And I am really looking forward to it. I am looking forward to advancing the administrators' reform areas and working with all of you. So again, I need your help. I can't do it alone. So thank you, and look forward to working with all of you.
So I appreciate you all coming and helping us celebrate the standing up of this new office. Sarita and I will be hanging around to answer any questions that you all have. But once again, thank you all for being here. Thank you.